Welcome, everybody. Welcome back to the Flipping Made Easy studio because we are live once again for another episode of the Chop Sports Daily. And it is Sturch. It is Gooch. It is Dina. It is Amber. It is Anthony. We got a full packed house here today because today we're here to tell you, the viewer, we told you so. We absolutely nailed the Washington football team logo. We'll get into that in a second because they unveiled it today. They had to go on NBC4 for whatever reason. I don't know if they have a little relationship there, but NBC4 dropped it today. They had to drop it before the team store opened, but boy, oh boy, we'll get into that in a second. But if you want to support Chop Sports, please do so by going to patreon.com/Chop Sports. There are 3 tiers, $3, $5, $10. You could support us, Chop Sports. And I think we're warranted a little extra support today. That's what I think. I think that we have gracefully entered the world of media that you can actually trust because we're right once again.
So give us all your money.
So give us all your money. I mean, I didn't say that. That was Dina, the producer. But in any event, youtube.com. You're actually on this channel right now. If you're not, get on it. Please like the video. Please subscribe to the video. Stay on YouTube. Stay with us forever and ever and ever as Amber falls over trying to get the low profile, which I hate more than anything else in the world, but it's fine. It's what we do here behind the scenes because Chop Sports, once again, was right. And what we're talking about with that is the Washington Commanders. Pull up that tweet, that gorgeous tweet. On January 7th, 2022, we put out this tweet right here. Chop Sports has obtained the new Washington football team logo. The Washington Commanders are set to unveil February 2nd, 2022. We have it first at Chop Sports within sources within the organization. Guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Our source was correct. Our source was right. Gooch, I'm going to let you get a word in eventually, right? I mean, I've literally been talking for the first 2 minutes of this thing, but how do you feel, bro? Because look, here's the thing.
I feel like we're not going to get the credit that we deserve.
I feel that way too.
I feel slighted just a tad, but this is what we expect from the big media. We're not going to get our credit. There's been people that are caping up for us. Scoop, you got to give credit to, what's your other buddy, Joe?
Oh, he went in.
They're
on
all
people.
over the Twitterverse, and nobody's actually.
And look, that's not why
nobody's actually retweeting our tweet.
I'll tell you right now, it's not why we did it.
No, I mean,
when you get information like this, you run with it. That's what it is. And a lot of people are like, well, how is this different than what you got so mad at Adam Schefter for trying to break a story before it happened? Correct. But that was also about a man's retirement, not about a team logo.
Well, look,
like nobody
there's a very
people
big
care
difference.
about Tom Brady.
Adam Schefter breaking Tom Brady's retirement isn't going to make his career. He's already got a fairly successful career working at ESPN. But us over here, the small guy, when we get news like that, we're obligated. And I shouldn't say obligated, but we owe it to ourselves to break that news because we need all the traction we could get. But also, Washington football team, if you really want to know the truth, they're scumbags.
Washington Commanders.
Oh, no, I'm going to have a hard time with that one. I've just got
used to the football team, right?
I haven't said Redskins often. Right,
I still say Redskins. That's just the way it is.
I was on Washington football team. I like that. I was like, they should just keep that.
Right.
The Commanders, I guess there's Pat McAfee went there yesterday. I'm not going to do it just yet, but they're a red team. They're playing in Washington, and they,
let's go commies.
There you go. They did.
I just went up. I mean,
but that's what's going to be happening.
They didn't think it's like that line from Big Daddy. He's like, you remind me of my oldest grandson. You don't think things through. And like, they didn't think this through, folks. You could spell this a million different ways. They could be the Washington Commanders, as in, commander. There's so many.
What did you just say?
Yeah, dog. Yeah, that's why I already read that on Twitter. I already read that on Instagram. I read it everywhere. Don't put your hands up like that. Because, of all people, you're gonna talk about that kind of shit. Okay, Amber.
Wait, relax. No, I'm not making fun of the fact that. I'm making fun of the fact that you actually said that the way you said it.
I don't care.
But you don't really think that they're actually going to change the name to CUM Anders. Is that what you were trying to say?
They're not going to do it. The fans are going to do it. Right. Just like when they call the Fudge Packers or the Cowgirls, right? This is going to be an easy layup.
I missed that one. That one went right over my head.
Christ. I mean, smoke more weed, turtle.
If you have some, first of all, it does smell like weed in here.
Because
I wonder who that was.
Amber walked in here, and you literally, when she, not only does she knock on the door with her nails, when she opens the door, a big like dust of smoke follows her in. It's like, whoosh, and just hits you. And now we're all high as a kite. So congratulations, Amber. You did it. It's Chop Sports. The Flipping Made Easy studio has now been, what do you call it? Smoked out? No,
Dave.
Hot Box.
Dave.
Thank you, Anthony. See, he's got.
Thank you, intern Anthony.
Anthony with
now
the-
we
Dave,
know.
What's the Washington football team's new colors?
Burgundy, and that's not. First of all, for you,
You just
to say,
asked us what's it called? Smoked out, and then you said the Washington football team's colors are burgundy. Burgundy's a dad color.
Burgundy
Dad
is
word.
a color. Like, why is that? That's a legitimate thing. But anyway, so
Burgundy.
first of all, I want to say this to the guy that gave us this information. Thank you, because you were right. To the guy who gave us the information because he got it from the information from the guy, right? The man behind the man. Thank you. Chop Sports definitely, I think, put ourselves on the map with this. And look, if it doesn't get picked up and we don't get the credit for it, shame on everybody that's not going to give us credit for it. But that's fine. We're not, again, sure. Did it work for, let's call it how it is. That tweet that you saw, that hit 262,000 accounts. There's a lot of accounts out there. 250,000 accounts saw Chop Sports. And a lot of them, and guess what, ladies and gentlemen, I am in production right now of a massive graphic with all of the receipts on how many people told us that we were wrong, how many people told us we were dumb, how many people say, oh yeah, you have sources. Like they attacked us for days. And that's when I was telling our source, one of them, I was like, look, man, if this ain't right, we're in for it. You know, like we're in for it for the long haul. This is going to be bad. Is everything okay over there? Like we're okay. Thumbs up. Good. So leave it up to the girls to just start knocking shit over. But in any event, but shout out to also how bad this was kept. This was not a kept secret. This was garbage. Like, first of all, yes, our source within the organization, that wasn't a leak. But the leaks that got out there, like the Washington
a leak is a leak.
A leak is a leak, but I'm saying the Commanders put out a video with like unblurred things and like people were seeing it right away. And then last night at the 11th hour, there was a drone over the stadium that decided to fly all the way to the team store and look inside the windows.
I'm pretty sure that was NBC.
But that's what I'm saying. You blew it yourselves.
But they were the ones that were outing themselves. They had it on their network the following day. I don't know why they would do that.
Terrible.
But anyway.
Kyle, I'm not apologizing to absolutely fucking nobody, just so you know. I'm not apologizing to Schefter. I still think he's a hack job who sold his soul to the devil to get all his stories. But I will lay off Schefter after talking to plenty of another look shot over to me from the producer's corner. What? I sold his soul to the devil? Is that where we got the, like, for the love of God, like, let me live,
looked over at you for reactions.
Uncensored.
That was just coincidence.
Yeah, seriously, it was like Brady Bunch. Like they're both like, huh? Like what? Anyway, so the Washington Commanders are here. They're New Jerseys. What do you think, Gooch? Do you like them? Do you not like them? Like,
they're the exact same thing that I've looked at for the last 20 years. They're the same thing.
Well, they have a black jersey now with all the patches that we released. Like,
are they going to wear their black ones? Where is that, a home or away? Or is that?
I think that's going to be like their alternate color rush.
So it's the same as any other team. It's the same as their old team. I don't see much of a difference. The logo was cool. The name, I guess they have something now to cling to. Good for them. Same uniform, though. I don't know why everybody's like, oh, that's this, or it's literally the exact same thing that I've been looking at.
It's different, but yeah, okay, fine.
I mean,
it's definitely different.
Colors-wise, it's the same thing.
Did you see the away jersey? That looks nothing like the jersey they've been rocking. It's bad.
It's all white.
It's all white with like red dotted number. It looks like the Falcons and what they did on their alternate jerseys with like the mesh of the different color schemes. Yeah, it just looks bad.
I think a lot of teams in the NFL have really ugly uniforms, and I thought their uniforms were ugly going into this, and now I think that they're just as ugly as they were. So
yeah, and Kyle's making a point. They're just trying to sell some merchandise. I've already saw hoodies, and it's funny. Our source said that all of the logos were sent to Fanatics about 3 weeks ago. So that it was like. That was like double confirmed for me. I was like, okay, so you're not sending this shit to the organization that makes all your merchandise just to be wrong. And there's a lot of people that came on our Twitter saying this is a smokescreen, this is just a deflection, this is a misdirection, this is different ways to get you to think one thing. And then
Joe Theismann's early set dementia kick in the other day. He accidentally leaked.
Right. Joe Theismann went out there and literally said the Commanders on a podcast the other day, and like even the host of that podcast was like, Joe, so it's the Commanders, like, and he's like, well, yeah, it's
I think it would be a great idea. I'm not sure, but
and I'm like, oh boy, so yes, you have leaked your own shit, Joe Theismann. But in any event, look, it's a victory lap for us. I'm taking one. It's a long victory lap, meaning I'm just gonna kind of just slow jog it the entire time.
Dave, as opposed to what would you be doing? Fast jogging?
Well,
walking?
I can't really jog as is, so this is like a celebratory like speed walk, I guess you could say.
There you
Like
go. There you go.
speed walk uphill, which by the way is the best cardio for anything. Speed walking uphill. Actually,
You know what's
Ashmere
really,
Fit doing
you know
that
what's
the other
really
day.
good car. Oh, speaking of Ashmere Fit, I don't have all the information, but I
Uh-oh.
will share this.
Breaking
Or she
news?
could start doing it in the comments. She's got like a sponsor for pre-workout, which we'll talk about.
What?
Yeah, I fucked up. I should have gotten more of the information.
Wait, so
She's gonna be pissed at me.
so somebody hit her up and said
Yeah,
like,
so
would
if
you
you
like to be
go-
like a spokesperson?
Yes,
Not a spokesperson,
I
like
think
a
it's-
face. Is it something big?
Kiala Nutrition. It's nothing huge, but it's definitely
something.
something big for her.
That's awesome.
You know, yeah.
Congratulations,
so 20%
Ashmere
off
Fit.
discount code if you want that pre-workout. You want that tingle. I hope it gives you the tingle.
Oh, everything.
hate
Dude,
that
you know
crap.
what? The other day I took my free pre-workout too early. Like I work out at 7:30 in the morning at the gym right here in Cliffwood, the LA Fitness. And I took it as soon as I left the house. It takes me 30 minutes to get to the house. By 20 minutes, I was like, oh God, I was like starting to feel. And by the time I changed into my workout stuff, I was just like, hey, oh shit. Like,
Yeah.
where did the juice go? Like it was like 45 minutes since I took it. I was like, that's what happens with a lot
So,
of these
Ash,
pre-workouts.
what you
that just
should
make you
do-
cash.
Share another story, but tag us in the story with the link, and then we'll share it to our
Okay, so
stories.
a code. So you're a brand ambassador.
Yes.
I've done that for a couple nutrition companies. It's a very cool thing that they reached out to you. They want you to promote their shit, and then they give you a discount off. I'm sure it's a 10% or 20% discount. That's awesome. Awesome. Congratulations to Ashley.
Speaking of fitness,
Yes.
did we check out the latest on the poll? I took a
The
commanding
latest,
lead.
the latest on the poll. I'm going to bring it up right now, and we'll see. I'm going to our Instagram story, which the poll is now 70% Gucci. There was only 20 votes, so let's not get too crazy. The latest vote coming in from Sam Grasso and Carl, your brother, and another Jonathan, Hawaii Mike. They're all voting for you. 14-6 right now in favor of Gooch taking out 3 grown men in a game of tennis. So now this has to happen.
Oh, it's
so
definitely
now,
happening.
So now when Toast bets us plus 800
Which is crazy that I'm going to be a heavy favorite according to the public.
according to the
here.
public here, you are a heavy favorite. Which again,
heavy betting.
they're all
favorite.
look. I would not pass it by you to text these people and say vote for me. That's what I think you do.
No.
I mean,
First of all, I do not have half of their
Jersey
phone number.
Boys seems to think that I'm gonna win this one, and so does
Packer-
my 2 accounts, and so does Health and Fitness Professionals, and so does Chop Sports themselves.
That's crazy because
Those are the only
I don't
votes
think
I got.
anybody at Chat
I've yet
Sports
to
besides
vote.
Dave agrees with that.
She has not voted yet.
I'm still weighing my options here.
Anthony needs to vote.
I want to see this play out.
Amber needs to vote. So Amber runs the goddamn store, and she hasn't
It will
voted
be,
yet. Shame on you.
Like I said, I think Scoop is the only dark horse here. I have zero confidence in you or Kyle. No
Shout out to you who's Googling Scoop yesterday to make sure that he didn't have any high school accolades in the sport of tennis. Like,
Yeah,
oh,
because
we got to
you
make
never
sure he's
know.
not all
Look,
state.
there's also there's other factors here where if Scoop belonged to like a pool club growing up and they had a tennis court there, then he could be sneaky good at tennis.
Scoop coming in. Chris is getting killed.
Killed. Oh,
That's
man.
right after
Well, I mean,
he
you
said
did
he
say
was
dead about
switching.
16 times.
You guys
yesterday.
are
You said
dead.
dead. He's dead.
He also said he's switching to your side. though.
Y'all in the
All right,
comments
so
clearly
Vinny
don't want to get
Tagliarini,
fit.
this is Scoop's cousin
Christ.
Vinny. Scoop's cousin Vinny is confirming what I already suspected.
Oh,
that
there's some
Scoop has
family rivalry.
zero tennis skills whatsoever.
Oh, and shout out to Vinny because I think you said this earlier, but Vinny, Scoop, I'm only one man on Twitter, so I'm trying my best, but you guys have tagged like everybody under the sun with our reports of the Washington football team. So thank you guys because that really does mean a lot of people, a lot to us.
Scoop got banned from Springwood Swim Club for playing tennis there when I didn't belong. I used to get caught drinking there, like after.
Where the
hours.
hell is Springwood?
Colonia?
I know that, but I'm sorry. You don't think I knew that was in Colonia? Like, I'm
Actually,
just trying to figure out where.
Springwood was directly across the street from Mike DeCrosta. So it's like the Colonia Firehouse down Inman Ave, but Cleveland Avenue.
Oh, near
why am
Body
I even
Bronze?
having this conversation?
I
Huh?
was curious.
You know, nobody knows. You're not going to know by the streets. It's in like a back road.
Okay.
It's not on a main road.
Okay. Anywho, so
Springwood.
that's the Washington Commanders stuff. We're very excited about it. We want to thank the people that started following us. If you're watching this video right now, please like the video and subscribe to us. We know shit. We're not blowing smoke here. When we have a source and we have some information, we'll give it out. All right. You might not like all of the takes, and that's fine. But at least if we have information, we're going to make sure it's credible. We're going to make sure it's to the point, and we're going to make sure it's accurate.
I have some sources that Aaron Rodgers is staying in Green Bay.
Do you?
Yeah.
Who's the source?
Ian Rappaport.
Oh, okay.
It's crazy.
He's pretty good.
Nobody's
Kinda look like
talking.
him.
Nobody's talking about it, but Ian Rappaport's poured cold water all over the Rodgers leaving rumors, but you haven't seen it in the media. Even though he is like a top 3 guy. Nobody's going to talk about it. But anyway, move on. I don't want to talk about the Packers.
Okay. Well, at High Street, according
Rodgers
to Mom
agreed.
Judy Gucci coming in saying High Street. I know exactly where High Street is. So yes,
Chris's mom.
It's not a totally foreign thing. I knew exactly what she's talking about. It's the street behind the whole mini mall. Right? Right. I'm right.
What mini mall?
Mini mall, like where Mike DeCrust is, behind him.
Shopping center.
Body Bronze. Anyway, going off on a tangent here of the location of Colonia, New Jersey, where nobody knows where that town is other than the people in Colonia, New Jersey. Okay, so it's time to get just a little serious yesterday or today, but stuff that broke yesterday. Apparently, and it's official, Brian Flores has sued the NFL and has sued NFL teams. Now, this is a big deal because if you go head to head with the NFL, that's, you're asking for it. You're also making somewhat of a career move because the NFL will also make sure that you never work again if things go sideways, right? So there's definitely a lot of interchangeable parts. Yesterday within Shop Sports, the Facebook group, there was a lot of like, I'm here for the comments. We're all going to find out who's on whose side. There's not many sides to take here, man. It's what broke yesterday is that he's suing because of the Bill Belichick leaked thing put him over the edge. That's what apparently, according to Mike Greenberg today on ESPN's Get Up, that's what intrigued Flores to say, you know what, I got to take a stand here.
I think that might have been the tipping point, but this is obviously
it's been
brewing for a while.
Yes.
His lawyers had all the information dating back to 2019, and they had it lined up in a timeline. So this wasn't something that just took place this week where they were like, you know what, this has been happening. And I know we talked about the NFL statement, or we haven't yet, but we talked about it in about the NFL basically coming out and saying that, we reviewed the thing and there's no merit. Or what would they say exactly?
Yeah, well, that was their closing, their last, like, we're not going to dispute this, which has no merit. And the only thing I could say is they put out a statement within like a couple hours. It took them days to put out a statement about deflated footballs. Like, you didn't orchestrate this very well, NFL. You went out there and said, oh, no, it's not true. It's not true. We're just going to put end racism on the back of our helmets and we'll solve everything just like that. We might even spray paint it in the end zones. That's cool.
Well, yeah.
That'll change everything.
I think that maybe Flores is a nut job, right? And maybe he's a hothead and all these things. But look, the fact is the Rooney Rule has been in place for I don't know how long.
2003.
It's that late?
That late. 2003, the Rooney Rule was put into place.
The Rooney Rule,
and people, we got to educate the people in case you don't know. The Rooney Rule was put in place in the NFL to make sure that the NFL organizations, when doing their front office searches, meaning their head coach, their GMs, all that stuff, there has to be two minority candidates interviewed. Okay, so it's not just one, it's 2. So the NFL put this in place, and while it seemed like a good idea at the time, because again, you're trying to get more black head coaches and more black GMs. And for God's sakes, there's not one black owner right now. There's not one. So, but pause on that when the Broncos are officially up for sale as of yesterday. So we'll see. If you have the money, pony up. I'm talking celebrities and whoever else. They can pony up and do a pool. The Broncos have a chance to be bought by a black guy.
It's not like you could just go buy a team. You have to be approved. There's a lot of
bureaucratic
tape
right.
to cut through.
Yeah, of course.
In terms of becoming an NFL owner.
But just so you know, so the rule was in place 2003. The rule was, again, when it happened, it was a very good idea to try to implement.
It wasn't.
But it was.
Here's what it was. It was tape.
At the time, I'm saying.
It was Band-Aid on something that was like a
correct. So like I'm saying, at the time, it was a good idea.
It seemed like a good idea.
It seemed like a good idea at the time.
In terms of what it's like, it was a PR stunt. The same way end racism on the back of helmets and equality in the end zones and all this bullshit that they do right now. But then the proof isn't in the pudding. You see black head coaches being fired. Brian Flores, look, there was a lot that went into this whole thing with the Dolphins. So I'm not going to sit here and point to the sole issue of him being black is why he was fired, because he was in fact hired to begin with. But when you hire a black head coach and then you're expecting him to lose games on purpose, that affects his future employment. That affects things. That's the biggest, most egregious thing. Now, obviously, Brian Flores, when it comes to the Tua situation, him putting in Tua and then putting in Fitzpatrick late in games, like this dates back. You think like there was a lot of things happening that year.
We're all like, why?
The Dolphins traded away everybody. It was very apparent that their front office was in tank mode, which I think it was obvious.
2019, obviously.
Very similar to the way the Texans looked this year, I might add.
Yes.
Also fired a black head coach.
Yes.
Now, but the Texans also have history of that to begin with. So the Dolphins and Flores situation dates back to 2019 where they were selling off everybody, but he was still going out there and winning football games. He actually knocked me out of my survivor pool against the Colts that year.
So,
right?
yeah, you got more. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, look, but yeah, the whole fact is at this point, him falling on the sword, whether he was right or wrong of why he was released from Miami or fired from Miami, him falling on the sword and getting rid of what I think is one of the worst things in football is the Rooney Rule, because it's embarrassing.
You think they're going to get rid of it?
I think they need to get rid of it. I think ultimately the change needs to happen. The Rooney Rule isn't getting people hired. It's actually putting them in a position where you have to go sit in an interview where you know you're not an actual candidate for a job.
And that leads me to the next point of the actual Giants debacle. So the Giants are in some hot water right now because the text message from Bill Belichick to Brian Flores was intended for Brian Dable, right? So originally he said, hey, the Giants got their guy. You're the guy. Congratulations. What?
All seriousness aside, that was a legendary text exchange.
Oh, by the way,
Belichick.
the closing arguments was fantastic. But anyway, like his closing line was money in our bank pocket.
Sorry,
okay?
I fucked this up.
Yeah, exactly. And I haven't heard from him since.
BB.
So that's what happened. So he obviously he told Brian Flores, who we thought he was talking to Brian Dable, hey, listen, I talked to my guys at Buffalo in New York. You're the guy. And Brian Flores was like, Buffalo, what the fuck? Hey, coach, you sure you're talking to me? My interview's not till Thursday. And he's like, I fucked up. They're going with Dable. Have a good day. And then just like, like right out the window. So basically what that literally means is the Giants chose their guy and had a lame duck interview scheduled 2 days later. They chose a guy on a Tuesday. They had an interview lined up on a Thursday with a black head coach because it fit the Rooney Rule.
Now there's also rumors that they did also interview one of their coordinators who was black prior to this. But that's only one, so you need to have two. One. But then they also, Kyle is saying that they interviewed Dan Quinn after that fact too. So was his a sham interview as well? Maybe they just really hadn't come up with a decision. They were like, all right, you set up 10 interviews, you interview 6 guys, right? Well, and you're like, all right, the 6th guy I really like, but we don't want to not see this process through. So you interview the final 4 guys. It makes sense. But
well, I was bringing this up yesterday when we were talking about this, and I said, you know, if I have an interview, let's just say arbitrarily, Anthony, you, and Dina are up for the next GM position of the Dolphins, right? And Anthony blows me away, and I'm like, whoa! Like I've never met a guy that good at what he does, and that smart, and that educated, and that energetic. I don't care who's next. That's our guy. But it just so happens that Chris is a black man all of a sudden. Not all of a sudden, but you know what I'm saying? Like arbitrarily, a black guy is next in line.
Anti-Sammy Sosa.
Yeah, right. A black guy's next in line. He's not going to get that. He's not even going to get a fair shake. So that's exactly what happened. And then forget Dina. You know, she's a woman in the workplace. That ain't happening. You know what I mean? Like all of a sudden, they're blown away. Is that wrong of somebody to be blown away in interview 1? That's where we're at.
No,
that's what I'm curious about. What
and like, there's interesting points that we could raise about the Jim Harbaugh situation, where it's like if you have a guy that you're coveting, and it's like with a famous actor, let's say Leonardo DiCaprio, he doesn't audition for roles, you know, he gets offered them. So if you have a guy in mind, let's just say the Vikings, which we'll get to later, and they're like handpicking, like we want Jim Harbaugh to be the guy, and they know that before they even interview anybody, then they have to go and do interviews. It's very stupid, and I think that's why you're going to see the rule abolished, because the rule itself is actually. Now I'm seeing in the comments, which we're not going to bring them up, about all the people saying other people have had lame duck interviews. Agreed. Understand all that. But they didn't have lame duck interviews because of a stupid rule that's put in place that's supposed to actually fix a problem, but in turn, it's actually highlighting the problem even more.
Well, you bring that up, and we brought up the Giants interview, but this happened too, according to Flores today on Get Up on ESPN. He said, look, I walked into my interview with the Broncos, and Elway and everybody, all the decision makers were hammered. Hungover.
I don't think Flores has an issue necessarily with the teams, because the teams are basically just adhering to a rule so they don't get in trouble. So if you're the Giants or either Broncos and you have your guy, you have no choice. First of all, shame on Flores for thinking that John Elway's ever not hungover or drunk, because he's always hungover and he's always drunk.
Fair.
And I do want to say this. The Giants don't have exactly the best history in terms of race relations in the NFL. They're like the last to do everything. I think the only black quarterback they've ever had was when they had Geno Smith start over Eli. So even that was a fucking debacle for the Giants. But Mara and Tisch, they've traditionally been looked at as like the last to do something.
Very true.
Very largely a reason why there is a Rooney Rule in the first place.
So basically what you're saying is you think Flores is not fighting for specific thing. You think he's just like, hey, this needs to stop.
He understands,
like, I'm tired of it. Because look, just so you know, he's still a finalist for the Saints and the Texans.
I also don't think that Brian Flores sealed his fate on coaching in this league ever again. I think he will coach in this league again. I think what you're seeing is him being in a situation now where it's like we dealt with the Kaepernick situation. I understand people are going to draw comparisons there.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a little bit different here.
It is different.
I think it's a little bit different. I don't think that he's going to be out there on Sundays actively trying to show anybody up. If he gets his job,
just buying tickets.
I think what's going to end up happening is you're not going to see him on the sideline on a Sunday of week 1 say he's head coach of a team. You're not going to see him do anything outlandish. Like he's literally fighting for rights and he's fighting for change. Whether you agree with what he's fighting for or what happened with organizations or if it's your team that he's outing, I don't think he's pointing his finger at a team individually, maybe the Dolphins, but he's really pointing out how the system is broken. And it has been for a while.
And just to boot, like he went off his last couple words to Mike Greenberg was, you know, I may never coach. Like he was like, Greenberg was like, do you want to coach in this league? He goes, absolutely. But he understands what's going on right now. He understands the level of magnitude this might bring to the league as far as a nasty stamp on the league. Remember, we're like not too far away from guys that are thinking about like boycotting and not playing and all that other shit. Remember, the NBA did it. They canceled games. Like there's a lot of shit. Look, do I think they're going to boycott the Super Bowl? No, that game's going to be played, right? Like that's not a thing. But what I'm saying is, he knows the ramifications about this, and he's well aware of it. And he's actually saying, like, I don't care. I'm seeing things if I could change it, let's change it.
He's in for a payday. I don't think that's even remotely close to the case. If he was just in for a payday, I had a good idea. Except that $100K per game that they're offering you to lose. What would you do? Like, if honestly, I could list a bunch of crazy things in life that I would do for $100,000. Losing an NFL game is definitely on that list. All right. $100K per.
I can't believe
with this roster.
Right. Like,
done deal. Bro.
I can't believe that's an actual factual thing. He doubled down on it today. Like that was a thing. He was being offered $100,000 to tank. And I talked to my boy Keith Ernst, who's on the Jersey Boys podcast with me. He said it from Jump Street. He said, players never tank. It's never the players. The players are going out there and they're giving it their all because it's a violent sport. You can't tank. Not football, at least, right?
Bro, jobs are on the line. Careers are on the line. It's a league where if you don't perform well, you don't have a job anymore.
So now you have
go out there and purposely lose.
What's his name? Stephen Ross? Yeah. Stephen Ross, the owner of the Dolphins.
Sounds like a wrestling manager.
Stephen Ross?
Yeah. Is that Jim Ross?
That's Jim Ross.
Right.
Yeah.
Same shit.
Sounds like Jerry Jones. I got everybody. Everybody's got the same Southern twang. No, but in all seriousness, like, what he's done, and I lost my train of thought because I'm just going off on a tangent here.
Stephen Ross.
Stephen Ross. So what he did, and this was confirmed by Flores, and look, again, two sides to everything. You can't believe everything you hear, but in his sincerity in his voice, you know, Stephen Ross offered him $100,000, and Flores said, I'm sorry, that's not in my DNA. I can't do it.
Well,
I can't lose games on purpose.
You can't do that because, like I said in the very beginning, you're offered money to lose. So you get a little bit of the money up front, but then you sabotage your own future as a coach in the league because who's going to hire a coach that doesn't have success in the NFL? It's like, oh, I was 3-13 here. Unless you're Mike McCarthy, you don't get a job off of failure.
God. That, we'll go into the comments because there are people chiming in. Listen, it's a triggering thing. There's going to be two sides of this. I understand that, but just be careful. Everybody be careful of where you tread and what you say, because again, it can be held against you in the court of law, to be honest with you guys. Like that kind of shit, you got to be careful. But in reality, here's another point from Kyle Kerms. Dable also had an interview with Miami after that. So just because the Giants like him doesn't mean they're ever going to get him. So, of course, they'll still interview the rest. So that's a good point. That is a good point because, look, if Dable was the front runner for the Giants, right, and the Giants wanted them really bad, but the Dolphins came in and said, look, dude, we'll give you $10 million more a year if you come coach with us. the Giants definitely have to have a second option. And that second option could have been Brian Flores. So again, when money gets involved, it's a sticky situation.
Tough when you're looking at something as a whole. Like, does the NFL have a race problem in terms of head coaches in the league? Yes.
Yeah.
The proof is there.
There's literally less black coaches now than when the Rooney Rule was implemented. So
there's
happening
less
right now.
There's less black coaches in the NFL now than when it was implemented. You said, right?
I just said
there's
that,
less now than there was last year. Now it's not fair to call each team individually, but like clearly there's an underlying issue here. But you can't put blame on one organization for going through their process and hiring who they want. And then but the problem is, it's like that's happening consistently over 32 cases. You got a guy like Jim Caldwell getting fired when you get guys like Urban Meyer being hired.
And Jim Caldwell not only being fired, but then being replaced by a Matt Patricia who sucked. That's a big thing too. Right.
So
he did nothing wrong in Detroit.
It's hard to not empathize. You've been out down to the Final Four. You made this point earlier. Like, if they were like, oh, dude, you got a beard, so you're, that's it. I guess then you could go play for the Yankees. Or you can't for
Listen,
that.
When it comes to big jobs and big opportunities, I've been at the very end of it. I've been at the it's between me and two other guys. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say like, oh, they got chose because of something. That's not me, because I'm a white guy. I wouldn't think like that, right? But honestly, if the shoe's on the other foot, if there's 3 candidates left and a black guy, me, and another white guy, the black guy's going to be like, dude, I don't stand a chance right now. And that sucks. You know what I mean? Like, and that's what's wrong with what's going on. So what Flores is doing right now is he's trying to change all this shit. And if that means sacrificing the opportunity to coach in this league going forward, he's going to do that.
Stimmy's bringing up a good point. Like, Bill Belichick's such a crazy genius, but
I can't text the right guy.
But he can't text the right guy. It sounds like that might have been set up.
That's another theory that's floating around here. Now, look, how much heat and how many times have Bill Belichick and Roger Goodell bumped heads, right? There's been suspensions. There's been this. There's been that, right? There's a chance. There is a far off chance right now that Belichick knew exactly who he was talking to. And he played it off like a genius to let this be going forward, the going right. Or look, we got a screenshot of the text.
Yeah.
The 16 text before that says, look, coach, I'm gonna text you right now, and you're gonna say this, and I'm gonna say that, and this all thing could have been premeditated.
Let's say the Bill Belichick thing wasn't on purpose and it was just a simple accident.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what do you think Bill Belichick's reaction to that was when he realized? And like, do you think he went and told?
I'll tell you exactly, sir. Oh fuck.
Nah, yeah, he probably still doesn't even know. Like, oh, or no, he knows. Obviously,
no, it's
he
BB.
Apologized, or he just like put his phone down and that was it. He don't give a shit. I saw the thing, or did you ask me, like, did he run to his wife, his cokehead son?
There was a poll that was put up on Twitter yesterday. Like, who was the first text that Bill Belichick sent to after that went down? It was either Brian Daboll saying like, hey, just so you know, I just fucked this all up. Or was it his cokehead son? That could be a thing. And we use that loosely. I'm not actually calling the kid a cokehead, but just give him a look. I don't judge books by covers, but he looks like what's his name? Who's that kid from the Revenge of the Nerds? I forget. Bobcat something. He looks like that.
Garthwaite.
Huh?
Bobcat Garthwaite.
You know that for a fact?
Yeah.
See, Dina, this is why we employ her. But yeah, so he could have done that. He could have called his wife. He could have called Goodell. There's so many people that he would have referred to when this all dropped. And like I said, very, very, very tricky, sticky situation. But Brian Flores has a very, very good case here, man. There it is. You're right. Hawaii Mike coming in on the delay.
Thanks for the backup, Mike.
Yeah, Hawaii Mike, who, by the way, invaded my DMs the other day with like different ways to market. I'm like, Jesus, like I can't. And I was about to drive and I was like, I got it. Now it's on red. Like it's red. Like I definitely, I'm not ignoring you, Mike. I literally forgot about it. And then all this Washington Commanders bullshit happened. So I'll get back to you today with that.
That's funny. Booger.
What?
He's Booger from Revenge of the Nerds.
No,
that's not him.
But yes,
yeah.
Yes, Booger, but Bobcat too. Bobcat was the guy that was in Scrooged.
Yeah.
Yeah. Scrooge?
Yes.
He was in that.
Police
The guy talks all
Police
like
Academy.
crazy.
Police Academy.
Police Academy. Yes. Yeah. Mix those two guys together. You got Belichick Jr. or whatever the hell his name is. But anyway, he goes, no worries. Just I just talk. That's true. You're a talker. But look, it's going to get sticky. I know it's look, as obvious as this is, we're 2 days into Black History Month, and this is the kind of shit that happens. Like, shame on the NFL for their response. You could have did so many different things. You could have said, you know what, we're gonna look into this, man. We're gonna look into this. But no, they're like,
the fuck? This is
not
lawyer.
us.
This is
Not
lawyer.
us.
It's all lawyer talk, bro.
Sounds very well
They're gonna.
timed.
Oh yeah, we're gonna publicly acknowledge that we're racist.
No.
As soon as the lawsuit drops, no
the
way. Their lawyers would be
investigations.
like, "What are you nuts? You can't be like, we're gonna look into this. You have no choice."
Yesterday,
But to be first of all, they're the NFL.
correct, and this is what makes us. Here's the thing, and I'm gonna make a statement now. You're not a hypocrite, okay? You are not a hypocrite if you consume the game and hate the league. That's where I'm at with this. I love the game of football. I love my Cowboys. I want to win every game, all that shit. But man, oh man, does the NFL just suck?
No, everybody is a hypocrite, but it's okay.
But this one's okay.
It's
the
everyone's a
NFL is
hypocrite.
legitimately
So-
crack.
Yeah, I'm not.
You
bad.
consume it,
I
it's
never.
bad for
I
you,
never
but you love
agreed.
it.
I never agreed to boycott anything ever. So I'm gonna.
I'm
keep
the same
watching.
guy. I'm not one of those like, oh man, they're kneeling. I'm going to turn this thing off right now. Like, I'm not doing that, bro. I'm watching my team play football, and I'm not worried about what's going on the field, off the camera. That will all be hopefully addressed.
I would like to bet that Flores is coaching in the league next year.
I'm with that.
I think he's 100%.
I'm with that. Listen, as I said, he is literally a candidate.
I don't know that he'll
top
be a
candidate.
head coach, but I think he'll be a coach in the league. No doubt about it.
Yeah, but it's got to be a head coach.
No, it doesn't.
If he was brought in as a defensive coordinator, they're gonna be like, well, he could have had a head coaching job, but he sued the league, so now he's gonna be a DC.
The Packers are
That's
definitely
shitty.
desperate for a special teams coach.
Well, you
so
can go grab Joe Judge. He's on the
I
streets.
would
doing
take
nothing.
him in a heartbeat.
Go ahead.
Heartbeat.
I know you fired your boy after 1 year. Let's see. Wait until those peeps that hate the kneeling watch the NFL halftime show. That was a good, Vinny, good call because, bro, when they released the halftime show, I said, for one, my first reaction, this is great. Second reaction, how? Like, how are these guys gonna you got Eminem dropping F-bombs, and I'm not talking about the F-bomb that we drop. You know what I'm saying? Eminem in Rap God, the literally the music that they play in the promo. If you've ever listened to that, holy shit. You know, do yourself a favor. Go listen to it and say, Slim Shady's going to be on stage. This is going to be great, you know? And you got Snoop Dogg, who's literally how many times over obviously they're going to advocate for weed now. I know we wrote that down yesterday. Cannabis stuff is actually going to be prominent and literally not only legalized, but literally do whatever you want. Actually, you know what, team doctors? Here, take this for
they're
pain.
going to prescribe.
They're going to
NFL
prescribe
players weed
cannabis
for pain.
Good for them. Because
Wow.
that should have been legalized before I was even in high school, but it wasn't, right? It's just whatever. That's my take on that. And I don't even do the shit. I don't even smoke. I root for the potheads of the world. And look, that's a dad board, right? Potheads. Who says potheads anymore? Me. Stoners? Is that? Oh, potheads is a thing? Okay. All right. Oh, smoking dope. There you
Are
go.
you on the
Smoking
grass?
Are you on that crack cocaine?
I think grass. not
Anyway.
crack.
So Flores as a case, it's going to get sticky. We'll see how that plays out. Obviously, stay with us, as we go on with this. Anything that breaks, we'll follow it up on the show and we'll talk about it. But we do appreciate you guys watching. Please, if you're watching this right now, like the video, subscribe to the video, follow us on all social medias. Our Twitter has been a little bit of a blow up ski. I'm going to throw the ski on that one because of the Washington Commanders stuff. So appreciate people on that. Responding to Kyle Kerr. So people are not my
Talking
here we go.
amongst
Yeah, they're
themselves.
talking amongst yourselves. Congratulations. Tough task like guarding Amari Cooper. YouTube chat is a tough task like guarding Amari Cooper. I agree. Amari Cooper, best route runner.
So the only issue with Flores at this point is he's a package deal with Deshaun Watson. So if you're gonna hire Flores, you gotta have Deshaun Watson come in as well.
So then the Giants definitely weren't taking that. Wasn't happening. Holy shit.
That is sarcasm, but also there is
Is it
reports
though?
about that.
Is
So, but what could you believe at this point revolving?
Stimmy
regarding
OG coming in. Flores will be coaching Friday Night Tights. He'll be the next coach of Last Chance U or something like that. No, he's going to get a job. I think that it's, by the way, Last Chance U, phenomenal show. Now they actually have a basketball one too. But it's very hard for me to believe that now that there's still openings left, and we'll get into one of the openings in a second. There's still the Vikings, there's still the Dolphins. Well, obviously the Dolphins, and there's still the Texans, and there's still the Saints. Flores would go wonderfully in New Orleans. I think he would go wonderfully in Houston. It's just a matter of will it happen? Will it happen because of all this shit? I think it sucks. Sam Gressel coming in. Where's Ashley? There's only 25.
Houston is basically the exact same position that the Dolphins were in 2019 right now. No, do not go to Houston, Flores.
Don't do that.
You will have deep regret.
Don't do that, because then you'll go there and then you'll literally get fired again, and then it'll become a vicious cycle over and over and over again.
Yeah, and like Rob is coming in with a good quote here. He outed his own players for PEDs, but that's all allegedly. And honestly, now that the lawsuit is coming out, you could kind of maybe.
If he did that, then he wouldn't be suing the NFL.
You could wrap your head around the theory that the NFL always controls the media narrative and that they just started releasing terrible things about this guy for the last 2 weeks.
Or
in lieu of them knowing they're about to get sued.
Or
so you
it wasn't Flores, or it could have been Mr. Stephen Ross who wanted to lose football games. You know what I mean? It could have been like, hey, by the way, NFL, look how yoked Tua is looking right now. That's some juicy. That's some juicy McJuicerson right there. He is definitely juicing all over the place. And that could have been a thing. That could have been Stephen Ross. Juicy McJuicerson. I said that. That's what I said. I said what I said. Is there anything else I wanted to cover on Flores? I don't think so, but that's, again, crazy, crazy story. One more coach to go over, and this actually kind of coincides with what's happening right now, because you said it before, Gooch. If the Minnesota Vikings wanted this guy because of his name value, what kind of actual, quote, interview do you need to do with a Jim Harbaugh? You don't, right? Like, Jim Harbaugh's coming back to the NFL only for the right job in the right position. He doesn't have to woo the Vikings. He doesn't have to convince them that he knows how to coach the NFL. This guy's been to a Super Bowl, and he took Michigan to a playoff game this year. So Jim Harbaugh knows what the hell he's doing, right? So there won't be much of an interview process, but have the Vikings have they done their due diligence? According to the Rooney Rule.
I would imagine we're about to find out. Hopefully they did not interview Brian Flores, because then they're going to be sued very, very soon.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Jim Harbaugh has got one of the most slappable faces on planet Earth. It's a perfect fit for him to go to Minnesota, for me to hate him even more. But he is a good football coach. So part of me is like, damn it, man,
you don't want to deal
with
this
guy 2 times a year. But at the end of the day, it's football. It's not supposed to be easy. I'm okay with it. The bigger story here to me is him leaving Michigan and him basically going on all these recruiting trips. and basically the biggest day of the year for Division I college football is, I think it's like the signing day is coming up. Like, it's this week. According
to what I've read, he's already told multiple people at Michigan, like, guys, I'm out.
Yeah, he's definitely in the NFL at this point. 100%.
Mike coming in.
What does Michigan do now? What does Michigan do?
Oof. Yeah, I don't know, but Jim Harbaugh, listen. Yeah, exactly. Moses is coming in. Jim Harbaugh deserves better than Kirk Cousins. Well, he's going to have his guy.
I think you're going to see a very, very similar situation to Jim Harbaugh with Jim Harbaugh and Alex Smith and Kaepernick and how they ushered him in. You could expect Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins, I don't even know if he's going to be there next year. I honestly don't. I think he'll be in Pittsburgh.
I think they did. I think they did pay him a nice chunk of change. He's going to have to leave that all on the table to get whatever the Vikings are going to pay. And what will the Vikings pay more than what Michigan can? That's another story. Because
Michigan right now, I know maybe there's going to be some people in the comments that will disagree with me, but Michigan is a sinking ship, and Jim Harbaugh sees that and get out now.
The way I saw it was like they got to the playoff, right? And they played the way they played, and they looked like they didn't belong there. And he probably had the inkling right there that says, like, this is the best we're going to be able to do. Like, we're not going to be able to compete with the Georgias of the world. We're not going to be able to compete with the Alabamas of the world. Like we might win the Big 12, Big 10, sorry. But that's about the extent of the success.
These guys that are asking about Michigan just paying him, and you kind of just brought it up. Yeah, Penn State just gave James Franklin a big extension too. He will be attached to every single major job opening, which he might even be attached to the Michigan job opening for all we know at this point.
He's the OC.
They basically restructure. It's restructures. So understanding that you're giving an opening, so more money at the back end, but it frees up guaranteed money, or I don't know, but it definitely doesn't take them off the table for jobs. And very good point that Michigan, Greg Schiano might be a fucking prime candidate to coach that Michigan team.
He would make a lateral, I wouldn't say lateral move, but stick within the division conference. Yeah.
Wow. Oh, Dave, if you're the head coach at Rutgers and Michigan comes calling, you better go to Michigan.
Oh, is that just foregone conclusion?
Otherwise, what are you doing this for?
I mean, Schiano did the original run for an NFL job.
I'm not bashing Rutgers by any stretch, but come on, dude, it's Michigan football, the big house. You're going to coach there.
Okay,
100%.
You think he'll wear khakis like Harbaugh? Just because? Is that a rule?
Wait, what?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, things you have to think about.
I don't think about those things.
So when you go to the Yankees, am I going to shave? I'm not shaving. Screw you. Change the rule. All right. What's going on here? Kyle coming in saying if Jim Harbaugh signs an extension and then just dips all those young kids he recruited, promising he'll be there, he's an actual dirtbag. Well, here's the thing, Kyle. Here's a perfect solve to this. The portal. You're out, bro.
Look what just happened with Oklahoma and USC. They plugged their coach, and then within 2 months later, I mean, even less than 2 months, you get the quarterback. Caleb Williams is transferring to USC.
Which, again, I don't know how long this NIL thing is going to last without it being literally like ridiculed and banned from doing. Maybe not the NIL. Maybe you could still make money, but the whole transfer portal thing, that part of it, because that's part of it. I mean, that's kind of where it's kind of part of it. Like, yes, because I went to this school because this school offered me money and the portal allowed me to transfer.
I think that it's finally right where it should be. It should be the Wild West because it's enough is enough with these people making tons of money off of kids. And now they're allowed to go where they want. Just because you want to play somewhere else, if you have better opportunities somewhere else, why should you have to sit out a year if you're sitting the bench on the team that you're on? I understand you made a decision,
agree with you there.
But you make your decision at 16, 17 years old, and then you're stuck to it for 5 years. Go play football or basketball wherever you want. If there's an opening on another team, you should be able to go.
And you play hockey over at Ramapo? You don't. Did you want to?
He does not have a mic, so he says no, he did not.
I forgot. I thought that mic was in his face. It's club hockey. Okay. But I'm just saying, like, did you have any other options to go anywhere else to play hockey? No. All right. So he sucked at hockey. That's fine. No, I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding. You're the man. But
okay, so do I.
That's where, I suck at hockey too. I played one game of hockey. What?
Suck at tennis.
You don't even know. You don't even know my backhand, bro. You don't even know.
Bro, Vegas has me the fucking 3-1 favorite.
Is that where we're at with the odds? That's all right. You'll see me out there. You'll see me. What? You play tennis? Yo, Amber's on my team. 1-on-4 now, Gooch. Actually, you know what? Kyle, you're out. You're cut. Amber's coming in. Kyle's out. I'm cutting the fat right off this team. No offense. And it wasn't really that. Like it was a figure of speech, not like cutting the actual fat. I said what I said, okay? If I wanted to cut the fat, I cut myself. Okay, that's that. Let's be clear there. But in any event, let's close this up. Like I think that we covered as much as we can cover. We had a lot of stuff. Obviously, the Washington Commanders thing, that was a success for Chop Sports. I think that's a big deal for us. Will it get the legs that we think it could get? It's all depending. And we thank, again, our boy Joe. We thank Scoop. We thank Vinny. Those guys are really hauling ass on Twitter saying, hey, Chop Sports had it first. They had it a month ago. Literally, we're having Amber. She's about to work on a nice little press release, trying to get our name out there for this. Because, look, when you drop something like this, and you're right, it does give you credibility. It does. So if we weren't credible before, we are now. And of course, the Flores situation will escalate over time. More details to follow, and we'll see what the NFL does with that. So we want to thank you guys for watching. We appreciate you. Got anything else, Gooch?
Yeah. How come nobody's talking about Flores shitting on Brady's day?
Oof.
Right? Couldn't have waited one
day.
But
I don't think that's happening today.
What?
The signing thing.
What?
Are you talking about him signing a one-day contract with the Patriots? Because
I'm talking about him retiring yesterday. I don't care about the Patriots.
Okay. Oh, so you're just, by the way, well, that's what I'm saying. Like, that poor groundhog,
waited a day, bro.
That poor groundhog got no airplay today. It was Washington Commanders. It was Flores situation. Huh? He didn't die. He saw a shadow today. The ground, Pocatuxi Phil.
They get a new one every time the old one dies.
What's his name? Patoxy Phil?
Punxsutawney Phil.
Punxsutawney Phil.
Punxsutawney. It's the town in Philadelphia where they do
the fucking groundhog, bro. The groundhog. He sees a shadow 6 weeks.
I thought every town had their own little fucking groundhog. There's not one groundhog.
So what's the New Jersey? So somebody tell me what's the New Jersey rep for the ground? Like, what's our groundhog's name?
We don't get one.
We don't get one. So it's just Punxsutawney. What the fuck is his name again?
Punxsutawney.
Punxsutawney Phil saw his shadow today, by the way. So he said, go F yourself. Here's another 6 weeks of winter. So we're stuck. We're getting a wintry mix on Friday. Hopefully that doesn't affect anything here. He didn't die, according to Mike. So that's it. Oh, wait. Now Ashley's saying, now we have conflicting reports. He did die. Ashley's dad told her.
I can tell you guys he did die, but they just replace it with another one and also name it Phil.
That is awful.
This is like the third Phil.
This is the third Phil. That's like the episode. Anybody watch King of Queens?
You know what it's like?
King of Queens. Kevin James' dog died four times. Rocky.
It's like the movie Groundhog Day.
Yeah.
Is it like that?
It's like
Bill Murray.
that,
Great movie.
Put that anywhere.
Welcome everybody to another episode of the Chops. Oh wait, we're done.
No, I wasn't frozen for the last minute. I was just sitting here in disbelief, listening to this. Whatever. Pucks. Susquehanna weed. You ever hear that? Joey Diaz.
Well, Ibby came in, which by the way, he records another episode of Till Mets Do Us Part today. He actually just came in. It's 2022 and we're still following a groundhog. Yeah, we are. That's big news. Okay. And I'm shout out to Phil the
Danny
third.
DeVito is our groundhog. What a legend. The trash man.
The trash man. I think
Frank needs an intervention.
Yeah, he does. He does. Yo, I'm laughing at this so hard. Thank you so much, Mike, for watching. And of course, it's like a college mascot. That's true. I mean, they never die, but actually new people take over. So yeah, I guess you're right. Hawaii Mike. Once again, I hate saying when he's right because it's like the feeling I get when I say like Chris is right. It's like the worst feeling ever of all time.
You must feel like shit
all the time.
All the time.
All the time.
All the time.
Pucks a ton. Yeah, I didn't watch Groundhog Day. I tried to over and over again. Bing zinger for Sturch and Gooch and Dina and Amber and Anthony and everybody in the studio. It's been a very successful day for Chop Sports. Follow us along at Chop Sports Media all over social media. Thank you so much, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.
Wait, what?